Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Spurs Up and another rainy day in South Carolina. But rain or shine, Deric and I will still be here to give you the latest and greatest in Gamecock sports. Starting off, the football spring game was this past weekend, and the biggest question in everybody's mind is roster lineups. How the depth chart's going to look, and especially at the quarterback position. You have four very talented individuals in Jake Bentley, Jay Urich, Deric Joyner, and the new Ryan Helinski. So it was interesting to see how they went into the game and how that's going to, be a preview for the season. What did you see?
Well, like you said it best. There's a lot of talent. Whether it be high quarterback IQ or physical ability at our quarterback position this year at the University of South Carolina. Jay Urich is a very talented young player. Ryan Helinski and Deric Joyner are also very talented. Deric started throwing with the laces now. This is beautiful. That's going to be a great asset to his game. I feel like they made a great trick play, threw the ball to Jay Urich in the spring game, and I think that was a beautiful thing to see. That the mind and the playbook is getting expanded. You can do things like that with the talented quarterbacks that we have. So I'm excited to see what's going to happen this season. It's going to be a great battle.
And speaking to that trick play wasn't even a trick play that much at all. I mean, it looked like it because you have a quarterback lining up out on the past the hash marks.
Right, it wasn't really a trick play.
But so Deric threw a screen play to Jay Urich. It went for 63 yards and a touchdown. And Muschamp spoke about it after the fact, saying that with the roster that they have, the talent in Helinski and Deric, those are going to be the backups. Jay has been the third string for the past 2 years or so, and now it's looking like he's going to be utilized a lot more around the team as far as maybe even special teams.
I think Muschamp was talking about using it more as like an ATH option on certain plays, certain settings, just depending on what situation they're in, play scheme. So I mean, it's going to be something that might throw a lot of other defenses off in college sports. or in college football, excuse me. But it's a different look than what the University of South Carolina is normally doing. So I think I'm excited to see it.
It'll be interesting to see how the Gamecocks, kind of try to expand their playbook per se.
Absolutely.
They're a very very conservative team. But when you're taking on teams next year like we are, like Alabama, Georgia, and Clemson, you kind of gotta take everything. You got to go outside the box and kind of take everything out of the woodwork.
And thinking about just kind of sticking on Gamecock football for a second. I know he's a pro now, but Devo Samuels dropped his new clothing line. What do you think about it? I like the logo. It's the D with the B on the inside.
All right, with the D with the B inside, and it's interesting to see him kind of promote himself. He's got an agent. He's got drafts coming up, and I've seen him in a couple mock drafts going to a lot of different teams where he can be utilized all around the country. I'm excited. I hope he's going to go. I believe he's going to go second, maybe early third round. But I think anywhere he goes, he's going to make an immediate
definitely
impact.
An early third rounder.
When he's healthy, he's a talent that can be as explosive as a Tyreek Hill, a DJ Moore, people like that. So I think he's got the ability to do that.
Right.
Sticking back, going back to South Carolina, the Gamecock softball team was able to get their first SEC series victory of the season as they took down number 4 Alabama. It's Coach Bev's first win against Alabama, and it's the softball team's first win against Alabama since 2009. They started the series losing 9-1, but then they were able to rally back. They won 5-1 the next game, and then 2-0 at home. So a lot of momentum being built up there. Maybe that's a final push as the season, starts to digress.
Do you think this is a championship quality team or a contending quality team this year?
It's tough because, as actually we were talking beforehand, and our producer Tom, he was saying that it's kind of like a reversal of the Gamecock basketball team. I mean, the softball team has had a lot of great out-of-conference wins, not a whole lot in the conference.
And that's what counts.
Exactly. That's obviously, the deciding factor in most of these things. Right. So I believe we said they're 29-11, but they're also 5-9 in the conference. So they really need to kind of build off this momentum. They take on Auburn
right?
coming up. So they have to kind of keep this SEC play alive. They're now ranked 17. They weren't ranked. They were ranked beforehand, but not playing Alabama. So it's interesting to see how they're going to build all this momentum. I mean, if they're going to do it, now's the time.
All right, you mentioned Auburn. Doesn't our equestrian team have a matchup against Auburn?
They do, actually. So the equestrian team is starting the national championship tournament in Waco, Texas, as it pretty much always is, because where else are you going to have it?
Everything's bigger in Texas, baby.
They're I believe they're the 7th or 8th seed, and they're 4th in the SEC. Auburn is number 1 in the SEC, and they're a number 1 seed, obviously.
Right.
So that's going to be interesting to see. I mean, we got a lot of exciting things going on in women's sports in South Carolina. So look to that in the next week or so. It's not as long as a national or a basketball tournament, but it's still pretty much just as exciting.
Right.
Wrapping up with women's sports, the big thing that is in the mind of Columbia is our women's basketball team. It's always been kind of a staple here, especially, national championship. They didn't do so well this tournament, losing to Baylor in the Sweet 16.
But I will say, I was very impressed by the level of backcourt play that we had in this tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Would you say that?
Oh,
would you say that it was next level? Taya Cooper is a phenomenal guard. A phenomenal guard.
Which makes it even more painful to say that she has announced that she will be entering in the transfer pool along with 3 other of our women's team in anticipation, I believe, of this #1 recruiting class. So you have Taya Cooper leaving, you have Kiki leaving, you have Bianca Jackson, and you have LaDeja Williams. Have all announced.
Kiki Harrigan was a great asset to the team as well. I really hate to see all of them leave. You do what's best for you at the end of the day, so all you can do is respect that. But really it's going to be a blow to the team, I feel.
Especially losing a talent like Taya Cooper. I know we have this #1 recruiting class coming in, but I have to wonder, if they get in, I mean, it's a #1 recruiting class.
Right.
So obviously they're going to perform.
But you're going to need that. You're going to need that leadership and guidance.
And if they come in and say the game, I mean, college ball is different for men and women from high school. So if they come in, it doesn't translate, or it takes a lot of time. I think Taya Cooper could have seen some action, seen some starting action for the first quarter of the season. And then once the freshmen kind of got into their own, then maybe she starts becoming a sixth woman, I guess.
She's had a bit of a riddled college career coming from Tennessee. So I mean, I understand her feeling that maybe the clock, the not biological clock, but the collegiate clock maybe is winding out for her. Yeah. So I mean, like I said, you have to make the best decisions in that situation. However, I feel that with us having that #1 recruiting class, they're going to need that tutelage, like I was saying a few minutes ago. That learning curve would be sped up if they had some more experienced backcourt members, and with that being gone, well, we can only hope for the best.
Lucky enough, they are coming into one of the best coaching staffs in the country.
Absolutely.
Dawn is going to be able
USA women's head coach and everything.
She's going to be able to whip them into shape and be able to make them into what is always a tournament team.
Absolutely.
Like I said, it was a bit of a disappointing loss, losing the Sweet 16 to Baylor.
Right.
But
congratulations to Baylor, by the way.
They have nothing else. They have nothing better. They have nothing else but good things coming to them. So that's always exciting to see. That's about all we have in the studio for you this week. Make sure you tune in next week.
Sneak peek. We're gonna have some very, very familiar faces and another face that may not be as familiar to CCS, but very familiar to the campus.
You're not gonna want to miss this one. So until next time, South Carolina, Spurs up.